Good evening. I didn't order enough pizza tonight. Maybe I got to order some more. Welcome to the October 14, 2025 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
After the prayer, please stand for a moment of silence for Christine Franciscone, who was taken from us too early. Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
The next item on the agenda is presentations. We're going to swear in our new police officer, Zachary Polina. Is he here?
He is.
All right. We go down there, right?
Just you.
Just you. Well, full house tonight. We're going to do a swearing in, and we have some awards to give out to our officers that are seated in the back. First off, we lost a young officer recently to another department. I asked Township Manager Brewer if we could move quickly in hiring a new officer. I have to thank him. I don't think any other department moves as quick as we do. We made this happen within about 2 to 3 months from the time the other officer left to the time we hired him. So I thank Township Manager Brewer. Thanks to the council, the mayor. I'm going to give you a little bio on our newest officer, Patrolman Zachary Polino. Zach was born in New York City, moved to Pequannock when he was 5 years old. He attended Stephen J. DeRay School, Pequannock Valley Middle School, Pequannock Township High School. While he was in high school, he was active in sports, played both football and baseball. He graduated in 2017 and continued his education at the County College of Morris, where he graduated with an associate's degree in criminal justice. After graduating from college, he was hired by the City of Orange PD as a special law enforcement officer, Class 2. After serving in that position for a year, he was hired as a full-time police officer with the City of Orange, and he went to the Bergen County Police Academy. He spent 2 years over there, and then he applied to us, his hometown. He went through a rigorous interview process. We ultimately decided that he was the guy for us, and we hired him as our newest officer. He's excited to serve the people of his hometown. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the future with the Pequannock Township Police Department. Patrolman Polino is joined tonight by many family members, as you can see, friends, and he's going to be sworn in with his mom, Anilda, his dad, Lewis, and his brother, Jaden. They could come to the front. And I think Mom will be holding the Bible.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mom, come on up. And the mayor, you can swear him in.
Do you have any name ever named like Marky? No. No, I know Kiki Polino. He's from New Orleans. So, I state your name. Yeah, but put your right hand up. Right?
No. Left hand, right hand up.
I'm backwards.
Right hand up.
Right hand up.
Right hand up.
I, Zachary Polino, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of Pequannock Township Police Officer, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
As you can see, by all the people that showed up for Officer Polino, he's a really good guy, a lot of support. I spoke with a couple officers who knew Officer Polino before we hired him, and everybody said the same thing, what a great kid he is, so we're happy to have him here. With that being said, we're going to move on to our awards ceremony. I'm going to bring up the two lieutenants, Lieutenant Jones, Detective Lieutenant Ricciardi. So, as far as awards go, we don't give them out often. We probably should do this a little bit more often than we do. Normally, when we have something special happen, we go to the manager's office, we keep it private, but since we are having a swearing in tonight, we figured we'd do it here tonight. Obviously, a lot of the situations that the two lieutenants are going to talk about, it's doing our job, but to me, it's doing our job above and beyond what's asked and doing it well. So officers are trained, but when it comes time to actually perform, these guys went out, they performed with dignity and above and beyond the call of service. So the two lieutenants are going to go over some of the different cases and situations, and then we're going to give out the awards. Who's up?
All right, I hope you guys are in here for the long haul, all right? My name is Lieutenant Jeff Jones. Many of you might know me, might not, but I've been with the department for about 20 years now. Both Kevin and I went to the academy together, and I couldn't think of a better place to be employed. As police officers, we are called upon to perform a wide variety of duties and tasks during the course of our shifts. Many of us signed up for this profession with the desire to work at a job where each shift brings excitement, something different with the ability to make an impact on others. Many people will say cops are supposed to save lives, it's just part of their job, or you're supposed to catch a bad guys, that's what cops do. This is true. Saving lives, catching and charging criminals is part of our job description covered by the motto, to protect and serve. However, oftentimes we fail to recognize the efforts that officers put into their work to ensure a positive outcome. The act of saving a life may come as routine to some officers, but the impact that it has on the person in need and their loved ones is significant and memorable. An officer or detective who takes the time to approach a crime investigation with passion and diligence by leaving no stone unturned is working not only to make an arrest, but to build a prosecution to ensure that the victim or victims are given closure and a positive experience with the criminal justice system. It is time that we recognize our officers for a job well done and show our appreciation for the thankless tasks that they perform that have a positive impact on society. So first, we're going to go through a few life-saving awards that we have. This dates back to the past 2 years. Like Chief said, we kind of been lax with recognizing people. We've done it in private, but we have a few outstanding awards to give out tonight. So I'd like to call up Sergeant Jack Lyon, Patrolman Benjamin Cole, and Patrolman Brian Parigi. These three officers are going to be presented with a Life Save Award for CPR save that was brought to our attention by the chief of the Pequannock First Aid Squad, Tom Lyons. On January 7th, 2024, officers were dispatched to Barty's for a report of a male in his 60s who had passed out and was currently on the floor, unresponsive with labored breathing. When they arrived, they found that the man did not have a pulse. They quickly worked together to render aid by performing CPR and hooking up an AED device. After a shock was advised and CPR continued, they were able to regain a pulse and turn over care to Pequannock First Aid Squad and medics on scene. As I said, Chief Tom Lyons applauded their quick actions, which led to the resuscitation of the man and transport to the hospital, where he was later admitted and doing well. So congratulations, gentlemen. We have bars to give you guys later on. A lot to sort out.
Unless you want to stand up here, Jack. No, I'm good. How do you think?
Next, I have Patrolman Jay Hardy, Patrolman Vincent Lamano, and Patrolman Stephen Natz. On May 26, 2024, while on patrol, Patrolman Natz was at the Windbeam Turnpike and Route 23 light in Riverdale when he observed a Mustang coming down Route 23 hill at a high rate of speed and proceed through the red light. The vehicle then lost control, rolled over multiple times, left the roadway, and ended up in the Kia dealership at the bottom of the hill. Crashed into a utility pole and multiple vehicles and came to rest on its roof. Patrolman Natz immediately went over to the scene, notified dispatch and other officers on the radio, and alerted that he found that there was 2 males trapped inside the vehicle, and as I said, the vehicle was on its roof, and they were in need of desperate medical attention. Patrolman Hardy responded, and utilizing the Halligan bar, which is a tool that the firefighters use that they kindly let us borrow, he removed the windshield of the Mustang to gain entry to the vehicle. Patrolman Lamano, utilizing his experience doing deadlifts in the gym, assisted by stabilizing the vehicle so that the occupants could be safely removed. The 3 officers worked together to free the occupants of their seatbelts and pull them out of the windshield and hand them over to other Riverdale officers to administer first aid. They all worked in unison during a very hectic and dangerous situation with power lines down and an unstable vehicle. Their swift and selfless actions in face of those hazardous conditions led to saving the lives of those individuals who otherwise had driven recklessly with no regard for the safety of themselves or others on the road. Thank you guys and congratulations.
Just want to add, if any of you follow our social media, anything with humor, that's our guy right there. If it's serious, it's one of the rest of us.
Another Lifesaver Award we have is for Patrolman Michael Kimack, Patrolman Jeffrey Hackler, and Patrolman Brian Parigi. On January 6, 2025, officers were dispatched to the rear loading dock of Stop and Shop for a report of a female who had fallen and was unresponsive. Patrolman Parigi arrived first and upon assessing the woman, found that her condition was dire with no pulse and she was not breathing. Patrolman Parigi began chest compressions until Patrolman Hackler and Patrolman Kimack arrived on scene to provide rescue breaths and set up the AED machine. The officers all took turns in providing CPR and administering 1 shock via the AED unit until a pulse and breathing was regained. Patient was then transported to the hospital, made a full recovery. She actually came into our headquarters about a month or so after this incident, and she wanted to thank the officers in person and was able to meet with them and thank them, showing the impact that it obviously made on her life. So thank you guys for... Our next Lifesaver Award, we have Patrolman Schreck and Patrolman Fisher. Unfortunately, Patrolman Fisher was previously scheduled off for tonight, so he could not make it. On May 26, 2025, officers responded to a residence for a report of a male in his 70s who was having difficulty breathing. En route to the call, they were updated that he was no longer breathing. Patrolman Schreck and Fisher arrived and quickly assessed the need for CPR. They began providing multiple rounds of CPR until the first aid squad and medics arrived on scene. Together, they took turns doing chest compressions and rescue breaths for over an hour until the patient was transported to the hospital. Chief Lyons from the squad reported that the patient was released from the hospital 1 week later and attributed his survival to the prompt and quality CPR by the officers on scene. Next I have Sergeant James Derricks, Detective Christopher MacGyver, Patrolman Vincent Lamano, Patrolman Michael Rafferty, Patrolman Dominic Gentile. On an otherwise hot and fun holiday weekend, July 5th, dispatch received multiple 911 calls reporting a possible drowning at PV Park here in town. Patrols responded and were guided to the water's edge where lifeguards were performing CPR on an unconscious 67-year-old woman. Officers immediately took over CPR and worked to expel water from the woman's esophagus and lungs. After working together for several rounds of CPR, they were able to detect a pulse and continued to provide rescue breaths until the patient began to breathe on her own. The woman was then transported to the hospital. It was later reported that she was alert, sitting up in bed, and doing much better than expected. Due to the swift actions of the lifeguards and the officers on scene, a tragedy was avoided that day. All right, one more and you guys are done with me, all right? Actually, Mike Rafferty, you can stay up here. This one. Right? Okay, now. Patrolman Chestnut and Patrolman Rafferty. On August 31st, 2024, officers were dispatched to a resident for a report of a woman who was actively in labor. When they arrived, they encountered a scene that all officers learn about in the police academy, but few ever experience, nor do they want to experience. The woman was in bed and delivering a baby who was breeched with its feet facing down. With the assistance of the father and guidance from a doctor via a video call, Patrolman Chestnut was able to successfully deliver the baby. And upon delivery, the baby was not breathing and had to be revived by both Patrolman Chestnut and Patrolman Rafferty. Their calm behavior and professionalism in an otherwise hectic scene led to a positive outcome for the baby and the family.
Tough act to follow. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Ricciardi. I'm the detective lieutenant with the police department here, and I echo what Lieutenant Jones said. We have truly have some of the best in the business here, not only in this room, but the police department as a whole. The patrol division works great with our detective bureau and doing their job and truthfully making it very easy for the detectives to follow up with all their investigations and conduct their business. The first incident of two that I'm going to highlight here dates back to the early morning of January 22nd, 2024. The Pequannock Township Police Department received a 911 call from an individual who reported that he had just been held at gunpoint by two masked suspects attempting to steal his vehicle. Officers swiftly responded to the scene on East Garden Place, where they encountered a visibly shaken but unharmed victim. The suspects, armed and masked, had fled the area in a black Nissan Maxima. Through decisive leadership and coordination, Sergeant Lyon, Patrolman Boone, and Patrolman Gentile immediately began searching Route 23 and nearby areas while securing the crime scene and preserving critical evidence. Their quick actions and professional composure ensured the safety of the victim and potentially others during a volatile and high-risk situation. The criminal investigation was then led by Detective Sergeant Halligan and Detective Ackerman, whose meticulous follow-up work uncovered that this incident was not isolated. It was connected to a much larger and more sophisticated auto theft operation spanning multiple jurisdictions. Over the course of the following months, Detective Ackerman conducted extensive forensic and digital analysis, reviewing surveillance footage, communications data, and electronic records that revealed an organized network targeting high-performance Dodge and Jeep vehicles. His work connected the suspects to similar crimes across New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Detective Ackerman exemplified innovation and precision through the use of cutting-edge investigative techniques, including a timing advance warrant, leading to a successful and highly thorough investigation. As a result, Detective Ackerman identified the key suspects. I'm just kidding. I have two kids and a wife that basically cry the same amount. She here? No. As a result, Detective Ackerman identified the key suspects and coordinated the collection of evidence to support criminal charges. This long and complex investigation culminated on July 1st, 2025, when Detective Ackerman formally charged the perpetrator with multiple offenses, including the following that I'm going to read. Now, not to insult anyone's intelligence here, but in New Jersey, first-degree crimes are the most severe, and fourth are the least severe of indictable crimes that before you get to like disorderly persons offenses and petty things. So the first of the charges that I'm going to read off, which I feel is important: armed robbery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit armed robbery in the second degree, possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose, second degree, unlawful possession of a weapon, second degree, burglary, second degree, terroristic threats, third degree, attempted motor vehicle theft, third degree, criminal mischief, fourth degree, aggravated assault, fourth degree, possession of motor vehicle master keys, fourth degree, and possession of burglary tools, fourth degree. Following Detective Ackerman's work, and nationwide arrest warrant was issued, and the suspect was entered into the National Crime Information Center database as a wanted person. This marked the successful conclusion of a case that began with a single act of violence and evolved into a major multi-agency investigation that dismantled a coordinated crime enterprise. Through months of dedicated collaboration and relentless pursuit of justice, the efforts of Detective Ackerman exemplified the highest ideals of law enforcement service. His collective professionalism, courage, and unwavering commitment to public safety through closure to a serious and dangerous case, protecting the citizens of Pequannock Township and beyond. Tonight, we recognize Detective Matthew Ackerman for his outstanding diligence, commitment, and perseverance in bringing this case to a successful resolution. Detective Ackerman's dedication to uncovering the truth and his relentless pursuit of justice exemplify the very best of the Pequannock Township Police Department. Please join me in congratulating Detective Ackerman on his well-deserved recognition for his exemplary service to our community. Sorry, I should have called you up earlier, and I spared you some time up here. Yeah. Detective MacGyver, would you like to come up? Sorry. This next investigation was more recent and obviously involves the investigative work of Detective Chris MacGyver. Welcome, buddy. This evening, we honor Detective Christopher MacGyver for his exceptional diligence, professionalism, and commitment to justice in the investigation of an aggravated sexual assault case. Detective MacGyver's thorough and compassionate handling of a complex and sensitive case demonstrated not only his investigative skill, but also his deep sense of duty to protect the vulnerable and uphold the integrity of this department. Through persistence and care, he ensured that the truth was brought to light and that justice could be pursued with strength and precision. When it came time to take decisive action, Detective MacGyver and fellow officers executed the suspect's removal and arrest discreetly, away from students and staff, demonstrating the highest level of professionalism and care to protect the school community from unnecessary exposure. As a result of this investigation, Detective MacGyver charged the perpetrator with the following: aggravated sexual assault in the first degree, sexual assault in the second degree, endangering the welfare of a child, second degree, official misconduct in the second degree, criminal sexual contact in the fourth degree. Detective MacGyver's conduct throughout this investigation exemplifies the core values of courage, discretion, and unwavering dedication to duty. His actions bring great credit to himself and to the Pequannock Township Police Department. Please join me in congratulating Detective Christopher MacGyver on this well-deserved recognition of his outstanding service, dedication, and sound judgment. Next is Zach for his speech. Come on up.
I thought that was Jeff's department, the humor.
Thank you all for coming. We'll turn this back over to the council and the mayor, and I think we can exit right now, right?
Okay.
You good?
Sure.
Good?
Whatever you want, Chief.
We're good.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Chief, hold on a second. Hey, guys, just wanted to say one thing, just not to make this any longer, right? And I know that these award ceremonies, not the top of your priority, right? But it's an opportunity for the community to know what you do every day for us, right? Right. And it's an opportunity to be recognized for everything that you do, and a lot of things you don't get recognized for, right? Working the shifts, working holidays and everything else when you're away from your families, right? So thank you guys for what you do. Those of you who recognized, those of you who weren't recognized, because we know that you're out there doing it every night, every day for us, for this community. And this is just an opportunity for everyone here to see what you do and actually who you are, because we know what you do, at least over here we do, but the community may not, all right? So just thank you very much for everything you all do.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
You guys did great. Thank you.
Welcome, Zach. Congratulations, Zach.
Wonderful, though, and I love that you do coffee.
Good to see you. What's happening?
Good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes.
My brother. Bye, buddy.
Thank you.
How you doing, pal?
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good walk. What's up, Lenny?
Yeah, right?
Too.
Right?
I was excited for that.
Exactly. Thanks.
There you go. Thank you. That's it. All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats, bud.
Keep up the good work.
Take it easy, man. My brother, congratulations. Too. Here, you want me to take your picture?
So do we have a
I'll let you know. So we got
Thanks for coming, guys. Nice to see you coming out.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Thanks.
It's about a day. About 2 seconds.
So now for more exciting information. TV push Hope so.
How do I do it? What do I have to do if I'm...
Oh, ye of little faith.
Do you?
Carol.
It's working.
How much?
I don't think so. I'll listen to what they say. I can respond.
Peter went in.
I'm just going to say something. I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to say controversial belief. Yeah, there is no settlement.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
If Peter was here, I would have a question for AI.
Kevin, whenever you're ready, let us know.
I am ready.
All right, this is Kevin Nelson. He is our flood resilience officer in town, and he is going to give us his update. Mr. Kevin.
All right. Some of you guys know me, some of you don't. My name's Kevin Nelson. I've been the flood resilience officer for Pequannock about a year and a half, started in May of 24, but some of you know me because I was a police officer here for 5 years also. I retired in 2022. I got hired by Adam last year to take over this position, and still, pardon the pun, getting my feet wet, but getting the hang of it, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to go over what I do and my role for the town. So the purpose of the presentation is the role of the flood resilience officer, me, and the things that I cover. We do these FEMA flood mitigation assistance grants. We're part of the National Flood Insurance Program, which is a federally run agency, and I can help you with the interpretation of the FEMA flood maps. There's a lot of news there. We'll get to it as we get to the slides. And we're part of something called the community rating system. I'll explain as we go. That's me. My role is really to oversee most of my job is overseeing the FMA grants and the elevation projects. We have some slides that cover that, but you guys, you can see some of the flood areas, houses will get elevated, and in most of those cases, they're at no cost or low cost to the homeowners. FEMA does participate, or we participate in the FEMA grant yearly. And again, I'll explain as we get there. I help coordinate the CRS program, which is the community rating system, which the biggest benefit of the community rating system is a discount on flood insurance if you participate in this federally backed insurance policy. And I will assist OEM in any flood events that we get, knock wood, since May of 24. I drive. I know. So the FMA grants, this is the meat and potatoes of my job, really. Every year we apply for an FMA grant with the assistance of a consulting company. So since 2015 we started. These are the amount of homes we've had elevated or applied for. 21 homes in the 2015 grant, 22 homes in 16. 17 we didn't get the grant. We applied for it, and that's kind of the one kicker with FEMA. It's not guaranteed. It's a lot of money. One year they'll say Pequannock can have some, the next year they might say, no, or New Jersey not getting any, out of our hands. So a lot of the stuff I deal with is through the federal government, and I guess on some level it's a good way I can say, don't shoot the messenger. It's not us. It is FEMA. It's not our. We don't get to control everything. 2018 and 19 and 20 we're still in progress, but homes are still being elevated. And then the next slide shows where we're at now. 21 we didn't get the grant. 22, we just started work. 6 homes are going to be elevated. 2023, we have 10 homes on the list. We haven't started work on the 23 grant yet. The money's not been appropriated from FEMA. 2024, there's been some issues with FEMA now in the last year. The grant was frozen and no word. Doesn't sound like it's going to happen. 2025 sounds like the grant is not even going to be offered. So we don't know where we're going in the future for the FMA program, but it's been successful so far. We're hoping it's going to continue. The way it works is that homeowners that might qualify, to qualify, the loans have to minimally be in the flood area. And then there's other factors, a repetitive loss house or a severe repetitive loss house will get more money. But if you qualify for the grant and you're interested, we contact you and say, hey, you're interested, we'll put you on the list. An application is prepared by me with the help of a consulting company, and we send that to FEMA. If FEMA picks it up and says, yeah, you guys are in, the grant period will start, homeowners are contacted, we'll have a meeting that goes over the rules. There are a lot of rules with the FEMA grant. You can't just build anything you want. And construction can start, and we reimburse the homeowner as they progress. I act as a project manager, but the homeowner's a project manager too. It's a little bit of a 50-50 relationship. I kind of help the homeowner be the go-between between FEMA, the township, and their contractors and workers. So they choose their contractors. We don't hire builders. We don't hire surveyors or engineers or any of that. They hire their own people, and we can't recommend any. FEMA has a lot of limits on the way the work gets done. Only work needed to elevate the house. It's no improvements. You can't add a bathroom. You can't go out in a garage or master bedroom suite, anything like that. It's elevate the house. Whatever's needed is covered. Beyond that, that's it. That's much work that you can do. Once it's completed, I submit everything to the NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program. That will change the house to mitigated, which helps us. It helps the community. It shows that we have more mitigated houses. It makes us more flood resilient. After that's completed, I will send all the documentation in to get the township reimbursed. So project by project. The town will get a yearly grant of X amount of money, but we get reimbursed by house. Okay, so when this house is done, I can send the reimbursement in, they'll review it, say, yep, looks good, and the town will get the money back for that house. Each house has a set budget set by FEMA. So we've done over 50 homes. I think it's 56 right now that are in here. The last 2 or 3 we just got up in the last couple weeks, but they're not done yet. But I think it's 56 houses elevated so far. Good amount. And we also do flood buyouts. Now this program was, a lot more was done before I was working in this capacity. I started a year and a half ago. We've done one closing since I started. That was last summer, so I really wasn't involved in that. But we've bought over 60 properties. And the idea is that the property will never be developed. We buy the house and then demo. No development in the floodplain in that spot. And those buyouts ensure less development in the floodplain and less insurance claims, which on some level is better for everybody. If there's a flood event, there's fewer homes there, there's fewer victims impacted. The National Flood Insurance Program is something we've been a part of. It started in 1968 from Congress, and it really, the biggest impact that NFIP has is to guide development away from flood hazard areas, or to restrict development in flood areas. Because you can imagine, you can't put an Amazon warehouse on like where the Regency House is right now. It's just too much space, it's too much, it would cause a rise in the BFE and all that. So there's a lot of limits on construction in the floodplain, and that's a result of NFIP. New and substantially improved buildings are constructed to minimize or eliminate flood damage. There's flood-resistant materials needed for commercial properties. New homes have to be elevated. You couldn't go build a new house on Madison or Roosevelt or any other flood area. You have to be elevated. NFIP helps floodplain owners and residents with financial assistance after floods. Most insurance policies are through the NFIP, and it transfers the cost of private property flood losses from the taxpayers to floodplain property owners, where, I guess if there's a disaster declaration, it's really going to be the individual claims will still be coming out of that homeowner's insurance policy. It works this way. Flood insurance requires the condition of receiving loans from federally insured or regulated lenders. If you get a federal mortgage, you got to have flood insurance if you're in a flood zone. That's the biggest restrictive element of NFIP. Premiums can vary and are impacted by NFIP. The township has no control over flood insurance. I do get a lot of calls with, my insurance went up. What are you going to do about it? It's no different than calling me if your car insurance went up. I have nothing to do with it. The township has nothing to do with it. It is what it is. It's not set by us. There are a lot of regulations from NFIP. The flood insurance through NFIP is only available through an NFIP community, which we are. We have been since 1971. And we agree, as part of NFIP community, we agree that we will adopt and enforce floodplain regulations, and that's the most important part of this. We have construction codes that are restricted to floodplain development, and that's the balance of it. We say you can't do X, Y, and Z in the floodplain, and that is the condition that has to be met to be an NFIP community. Mapping is another part of it. Mapping is also FEMA. It's not us. We don't make the maps. It's all from FEMA, and we use those maps to regulate development in the flood-prone areas of the floodplain. Insurance agents use the maps to rate flood insurance policies. Lending institutions use maps to determine if mandatory insurance is there. So again, I get calls. Why am I in the flood zone? I don't think I'm in the flood zone. My house has never flooded. I've been here 50 years. It's not our call. It's stating I have no, the governing body has no control over the map, who's in it, who's out of it, and what your rates are going to be. If this lender says you need insurance and this lender says you don't, not our call. So we voluntarily participate in NFIP. It enables homeowners to get federally backed flood insurance, ability to apply for federal grants or loans, and we joined in 1971. The requirements are that we have to adopt resolutions of our intent to participate and adopt and enforce these minimum regulations, which are more restrictive construction codes, which you can talk about for hours. You have to go see Bob Brady, get a whole volume on what's more restrictive and what's not. That's a presentation for a different day. So we have the statutory authority to regulate and enforce floodplain regulations. That's a big part of it. We can deny permits, we ensure compliance, we maintain records of floodplain development, and the assist in floodplain map revision process, which is a different animal than the map change that just occurred. I'll get into that in a couple of future slides. And we can also help give residents information on flood hazards, flood map data, and flood insurance information, and proper construction methods. So there's a fine balance there of what you can and can't do, and that keeps us in NFIP. So just to talk about the flood insurance rate maps, they call it a firm. This is the township web flood information page on the website. This bar right here, everybody says, am I in a flood zone? Where am I at? Right here, property search, click that, type in your address, and it'll bring you to the map, which I think is coming up. Yep, so this is the overview of the entire town. The pinkish, gold, and gray is what we're concerned with. So that we're bordered by flood zones on both sides, east and west. North and south, we're clear. So if you go further, gray, the map really has the three colors, gray, gold, and pink. Gray is good. Gray is area of minimal flood hazard, as they call it. And click that. So in plain English, the area of minimal flood hazard is you're not in a flood zone. You can't say it's not a flood zone because anywhere can flood, and you can't say it'll never flood because never is a long time, but it means you're not in a flood zone. Flood insurance generally is not required to obtain a mortgage. The gold zone is the X500 zone. That's all represented by gold on our map. X500 zone is what's called the 500-year floodplain. If yours is gold, it's a 0.2% chance of an annual flood, according to FEMA. Again, these stats, numbers, the base flood elevation, this all comes from FEMA and some engineering and a little bit of voodoo and science in there. None of these elevations are set by us. Flood insurance may be required to obtain a mortgage. It used to be, I would say, in NFIP community, X500 zones, insurance was not required, but we're starting to hear a couple people saying, my mortgage company is saying I need it. Again, we can't tell you yes or no. We're going to say they might not. A zones are the flood zone. What you think of as the flood zone. In plain English, A zone is a flood zone. It's known as the 100-year flood zone. If yours is pink on our map, they have a 1% chance of an annual flood, and generally, flood insurance is going to be required to get a mortgage. We have two A zones, an AE and an AH. The AE is what you think of down by the river, village area, Madison, Roosevelt, Pequannock Ave, Greenwood. All those areas are AE zones where there's elevations. It's an area of more detailed study. The AH zones is the area west of us right now. A bunch of streets are in there, Forest Drive and some of Jacksonville and West Parkway areas. You wouldn't think of as a flood zone, but they are actually in the 100-year floodplain. It's something called ponding, where if you really be from like a heavy rain, it wouldn't be river flooding, where those areas are being flooded by the river. This is more ponding and puddling from a depth of 1 to 3 feet, but the elevations are such that you're in the 100-year floodplain, and insurance is generally going to be required. So like I said, the AE zones to the east along the river, AH to the west along the several ditches and low-lying areas. And the floodway versus the floodplain. The floodplain is like most of all the villages in the floodplain, no floodway, the pink area here. Floodway is designated on our map with the slash marks on it. The floodway, right here, stream channel and portion of the floodplain that must remain open to permit the passage of base flood. It's the swiftest flood waters in the area of greatest damage. So development is even more restricted in the floodway. Now, of course, this town built there for years into the 60s, 70s, 80s. We're more restrictive now, so if you were to try to build a new house in the floodway, you would be denied. There's no more coverage. You can't do additions that change your footprint. Even any of the elevation projects we do there, no footprint changes are allowed. Nothing's allowed to cause any rise on the flood elevation. So that's the difference there, floodplain and floodway. When the map and the ground data disagree, there are map revisions. These are the calls I'm getting now. We had a map change 2 months ago in August. And people are saying, I'm mapped into the flood zone. What the heck? I've lived here 30 years. I've never had a flood. I've never had a drop of water. Why is FEMA saying I'm in the flood? Why are you saying I'm in the flood zone? Then I got to tell them FEMA said you're in the flood zone, not me. There is some recourse. Something called a WOMA would come from a homeowner, and we can assist with that. Our zoning officer helps. A letter of map amendment. And what that does is say, what you have to do, there's a catch. You got to get a survey done and get an elevation certificate, which costs at least several $100. You mail that into FEMA, they can look at it and say, no, we disagree with you, we're keeping you in. Well, they might look at it and say, yeah, you're right, we're going to map you out. So there is a catch. It's not automatic. You can't just say, I want out of the flood zone. That's not that easy. But you might get out, and then you wouldn't have to have an insurance requirement. There are other letters of map revision based on fill, and a letter of map revision that comes from the community if you disagree with something and say, no, that's not right. We want that area mapped out. And again, it's up to FEMA. They got to decide. We can appeal to it or appeal to them to change it, but it's not automatic. So that's how the map revision works. There is some recourse for homeowners that get mapped in with this map change we just had. So this map modernization, I guess, Adam, if I'm right to say 2017, FEMA changed our map, which is several years after the last big flood. And they, the idea is for a good thing. Keep it much more accurate, and it allows for quicker and easier floodplain determination, all these things. The community involvement was there. we can provide information on areas that were prone to development or areas that are known flooding problems. And by 2017, we were all experts with the previous 15 years or so we had. We had a rough stretch there with a lot of floods. So our new map came out in 17. We disagreed with certain things, and then the new map came out in 23 because we appealed it in one, and FEMA did make some changes. So you can see here, new map became effective August 19th of 25, and that's what's keeping me a little busy. There's been some phone calls on people not happy with it, but for the most part, a couple hundred houses at least came out in the flood zone that FEMA put in 17. To the community rating system, this is a thing we've been a part of since 2011. It's designed by NFIP, and it encourages communities to implement floodplain programs above and beyond NFIP. And it's a lot of public information, a lot of public outreach stuff I'm doing right now. The mapping stuff, teaching people how to use the maps. Flood damage reduction activities, that's through DPW a lot in this town, drainage clearing, stormwater management. Flood preparedness activities is even drills, fire department training, there's all sorts of stuff there. But the CRS activities result in better flood protection, but most importantly, lower insurance premiums. We have a rating of 5, which equals a 20% discount on flood insurance premiums if you have an NFIP policy. We joined CRS in October 1st, 11, about a month after Hurricane Irene, which was our worst flood to date, and that was the last one, or about the last one of a stretch where we had a real rough stretch from 99 to 11 of about 10 floods. And then here I just screenshotted a declarations page, community rating system discount, $472. So being a part of the community rating system and keeping a good number is truly one-on-one benefiting every member who lives in the floodplain. I mean, you're literally hitting them right in the pocketbook to give them a real savings and do what you can. Beyond that, there is only so much we can do at some point. We can help, but if the flood's coming, there are times there's nothing that can be done about it. But we're certainly trying to save money. We're trying to make it as flood resilient as we can here. So, my contact information is here. I got some handouts here, some business cards if anyone needs them. That's that.
Mr. Nelson, thank you very much. I haven't learned a bunch of stuff today, so thank you. And I just want to mention that we as Pequannock Township, we do take the flooding seriously and all this stuff seriously, and this is one of the things that happens behind the scenes that most people don't know about until there's a problem. So thank you, Mr. Brewer and Mr. Nelson.
If I came back, I've lived here since 1979. Part of the 84 flood as a kid, part of the 2011 flood as an adult. And I didn't even know we did all this stuff until I took this job only a couple years ago. So it's a lot. I don't know anything more we could be doing that we're not. So
thank you. Any comments from council?
No, thank you, Kevin. It was actually a really good presentation.
It was a very good presentation. Very good.
And Mayor and members of council and the public, if I could just take a moment to thank Kevin. As he noted, he was a police captain and a police officer for 25 years in town, and he just shared his personal experience dealing with things. Jennifer McCulloch was the township's first flood resilience officer. See if I can get that out. Jennifer did a great job. Had an opportunity to move on, and I was genuinely terrified of what we were going to do. And then an opportunity to present itself, and Kevin expressed interest in the job, and we said, hey, this might work. Based upon his personal experience and also acquiring the credential of a certified floodplain manager, which requires taking the federal exam to get the credential, I just want to compliment you and say you've done a phenomenal job in 18 months. It was 6 months of drinking out of a fire hose, and from then on, I think we found our legs. Yeah, so I appreciate everything you do on a day in and day out basis, and you're an asset to the community.
thank you.
Well, thank you again. Okay, we are done with the presentations. Moving on, we're going to do reports from volunteers. These are volunteers that serve on committees and boards for the town. So this time, are there any reports or committees or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the public comment. No. Oh, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Oh.
Sorry.
Thank you. We'll move on with the agenda to public comment. The next item on the agenda is public comments. This comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. Additional time is reserved later in the meeting. We welcome comments, suggestions, and questions during the comment period. However, the purpose of this is to allow public comment and not to engage in a dialogue. If you have a specific question, please feel free to pose it. and then follow up with staff via telephone or email. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, please. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized and come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. I just would like to make one comment starting off. Contrary to stuff that's been online, the council has not signed anything, okay? So you're welcome to comment, you're welcome to talk, but nothing has been finalized. I just want to put that out there, okay? I know there's stuff out there. I've heard about it. I'm not on the Facebook thing, so I really don't follow that stuff, but I'm just wanted to say that. So who's up first? Yes, come on up.
Sorry, I beg your indulgence.
Good evening.
Good evening, Bob Morley. Anyway, I came here to talk about the public safety issue, the milling and paving operation in front of PV School. First, I want to thank Adam for whatever he said to go from being just a cluster to just being a small fire. I called the county, but I assume whatever you said worked because they changed something. So thank you for that. Some of you know I have some experience in this area. I've been doing it for 20-something years. What I saw out there was insane. Having our intermediate or middle school kids having to walk through an ongoing milling and paving operation is insane. There's literally no other word for it. I talked to our local police. They thought it was insane. Okay? The fact that our local police were involved means that somebody in the town signed off on it. I understand it's a Morris County project, but somebody in the town signed off to allow our local police to do it, which means we tacitly approved it. Okay? I don't know if you guys have been out there when school starts, but we have kids walking side by side. We have kids riding next to them on bicycles. We have kids riding electric scooters all the time, okay? I've seen, some people say it's no big deal. Trust me, it's a big deal. One of my workers got hurt because the asphalt wasn't secured properly on the truck and it landed on his shoulder, okay? That hurts. If you're a 12-year-old kid, it's going to hurt a lot. You know, the tack code, sometimes that bursts out because it gets clogged. Boom, that comes out 250, 260 degrees. What I ask, okay, is that, I don't know what your protocols are, but if you are using and assigning local police, I ask that A, somebody review the plans so that local police know what it is they're supposed to be watching, and B, and this is what scared me most, those police were afraid to get involved in it. I don't know why. Our local police are wonderful, but they didn't want to get involved in it. All they did is they all shook their head. They said, I don't believe this. You know, I understand. Some of you people think I'm a pot star, whatever the case may be, and I am. But this involves my kid.
It's a legitimate concern, and we get it. So I'll ask Adam for an update when you know, just for thank God they're done.
Yeah, the problem is that Morris County also controls the boulevard, which also has 3 elementary schools on it, which makes it double the danger.
Okay. So I'll ask Adam once we're done, but thank you for voicing that. Public comment, yes, come on up. Mr. Rich, if I may call you that.
Of course.
All right.
Just the fact that you said Mr., it makes me feel good. I'll be as quick as I can. Appreciate the time to speak. It was nice to see the police officer awards. We have a great town, and I hope that we can maintain it and protect it going forward. I thought it was interesting that the flood resilience officer was up doing that presentation. You know, I'm here to talk about 60 Sunset. I'm hoping that he is aware of the water issues gutters, the retention basins, and the impervious coverage overages that are proposed in that build. That said, you guys know me. I know that your job on the town council isn't easy. Sometimes it's a thankless position to be in, but please be assured that the good work that you do is appreciated. That said, I'd like to speak to the council meeting of September 9th, 2025, when I shared with you the conference call that took place on September 8th, the day before, with the attorneys representing both Pequannock and Pascack Valley Learning Center concerning the lawsuit against the town. You had claimed that you were unaware of the call itself, and especially the route that the insurance company attorney, Eric Harrison, took in Pequannock's defense of the suit, or rather the lack of defense. I won't report the bullet points again, there were many, but I will repeat that our attorney indicated he anticipated a quick settlement that will satisfy PVLC, I'll abbreviate from now on. He called the Pequannock people awful. He didn't dispute any of the questionable claims by the plaintiff, and even suggested that the town ordinances could be adjusted to satisfy the build to smooth the way for PVLC. At the town council meeting prior to the September 9th meeting, the public was assured by the council and Mr. Oostdyke the intent was to fight the lawsuit and defend the zoning board's denial, and that the insurance company attorney was on board with that strategy. When I spoke to these troubling things from the judges and attorney call at the council meeting, I was glad I did, since you didn't seem to be aware of the course our attorney took. But in hindsight, having time to think about it, I became concerned about the council's lack of awareness. There are two possibilities I can see on your side about this. I mean, to be totally respectful here. Number one, either you didn't know about the call, you didn't know the insurance company attorney you approved after the people requested outside counsel that he would lie down so quickly and pretty much, in my opinion, testify more for the plaintiff than for Pequannock. If that's the case, the total lack of coordination and communication between the council and our attorney points to gross incompetence and a lack of concern and time invested on your part, as well as concern for Pequannock's residents. The second possibility is that you were aware that the strategy was to settle quickly, which I don't think, at least I don't hope, and advised the attorney to do just that. If that's the case, then that's a betrayal to the people you lead after advising that you would defend the zoning board's denial vigorously only 2 weeks before. I don't mean to be confrontational, but either possibility is certainly a misstep. It's also a disservice to the residents who have spent so much time, effort, and money on this issue simply to preserve the integrity of our master plan and zoning laws. It's not about religion or who you are, it's about does it fit here. I encourage the council to reevaluate your approach to this lawsuit. I understand nothing has been settled, but what has been done so far on that call is quite damaging. And I encourage you to take the time to know what's really going on. As I said before, just reading those papers, you can't get it from that. We deserve that as citizens. It's your job. The zoning board and the residents have done theirs. Now it's your turn. I understand the apprehension and fear when our loop is the basis of a suit. I understand the fiscal implications. But please don't be bullied. Time, effort, and money spent to maintain the integrity of our town, defending what, in my opinion, is an unfair use of a law meant to protect those from genuine discrimination, is worth it. I'm pretty sure Pequannock can afford a real defense here. Don't let the dollar rule your decision. Any money saved by giving in to this in the short term will cost the town so much more in the long run, should you decide to throw the towel in so quickly. I think that the need for outside counsel is clear. I'm just about done. Two quick blurbs. In civil litigation against a municipality, it's common for the township's insurance carrier to assign legal counsel to defend the case. While this satisfies the carrier's obligations under the insurance contract, the interests of the insurance company and the governing body are not always aligned. I think we've seen that. Insurance counsel is primarily tasked with minimizing monetary payout. The township, however, must consider broader impacts such as long-term zoning authority and master plan integrity, future precedent risks such as copycat lawsuits or more forced approvals, and public policy decisions that affect all residents, not just the current claim. There's several examples of where towns have gone from the insurance company counsel to their own independent counsel. I'm not going to read them, it'll be very boring, and there's a lot of numbers, but I will leave a copy with you if I can.
Sure.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's right. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, come on up.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for this time to speak tonight. Lorraine Robertson on West End Avenue, Pompton Plains. I wanted to bring to the attention of the council procedural defects and an improper joiner in this case. The matter is not a religious discrimination case. It is a defective zoning appeal filed in the wrong format, also combining wrong defendants with no substantial burden on religious exercise. Under Rule 4:69, Barrett versus the Borough of New Milford, 68 New Jersey 576, I'll leave all this with you, combining the council, the planning board, and the zoning board in one complaint is a fatal jurisdictional flaw requiring dismissal. The Falloon Properties LLC versus Bethlehem Township, the planning board, and I'll leave this case too, the court reaffirmed that an improper joiner of municipal bodies voids the action entirely. Each tribunal's decision must stand or fall on its own record and findings. There can be no collective appeal for a desperate municipal act. The consequence is clear for Pequannock, and this is also clear for setting ordinances throughout the state of New Jersey as well as nationally, because this is a highly focused case. When the suit is structured wrong, the proper remedy is dismissal, not negotiation or a settlement. A settlement cannot cure a complaint that failed to meet jurisdictional requirements. Reading through the zoning board resolution, they hit on every single topic on why this case should be declined or denied to the applicant. So I am asking council to move to dismiss the complaint with prejudice for procedural and jurisdictional defects, decline settlement terms, and override our ordinance and grant relief that are not obtainable in a properly filed action, and reaffirm that the public inquiry and the lawful enforcement are not misconduct but duty. Please stand firm on the integrity and the laws that are given to us. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Rich, I should have said it, but I'll ask Bob to just update us where we are with whatever comments, that happened in the meeting. So, yes, Paul.
Good evening, Paul Mailer, Township resident. I'd like to begin by reading from the applicant's website. It reads as follows. One School Global is an independent network of schools attended by families of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church. While originally established by members of the church and underpinned by a Christian ethos, the school is not a religious institution and is not owned or operated by the church. I have a screenshot of that if you'd like, but please take that into consideration. Also, when you go into executive session to consider the 60 Sunset application, please keep these 4 words in mind: positive and negative criteria. Through countless hours of testimony, the 60 Sunset applicant made just one significant claim, namely that they intend to build a school, and that a school is legally deemed to be inherently beneficial to society. That is the basis for their claim that they satisfied the New Jersey Supreme Court Coventry and SECA standards. So for argument's sake, let's give them that one. And let's even give them the positive benefit of providing new sidewalks and landscaping and ADA compliant parking spaces. However, Coventry and SECA both require that the applicant also satisfy negative criteria caused by their overly aggressive plan, including Applicants claim they were unable to satisfy the minimal lot requirement because the site is surrounded by existing single-family residences. In other words, they couldn't add to the size of the site because houses were already there. Obviously, that situation existed when they purchased the property without contingencies. And wouldn't logic dictate that they look elsewhere for a larger lot? At least 4 proposed variances prove a detrimental effect to the existing zone. A 20.4% bulk variance, a 12% impervious surface variance, a 21% parking variance, and a 20% front yard fence variance. In addition, the applicant's planner misrepresented the impervious surface variance, writing in his report that, quote, "the additional 4% of impervious surface is not a substantial deviation." What he said, 4% variation. It's 4 percentage points. It's a 12% variation. The applicant claimed that a 5-foot fence along the entire frontage was a better alternative to prevent anybody from falling into the retention basin, when the standard is only to have fencing around a basin. Construction of a 5-foot fence along the entire frontage is entirely unnecessary for that purpose. The applicant claimed that fencing around their entire property was required because of their, quote, "prototypical safety and security standards," end quote. A cursory look at their website shows several of their other properties in the United States that have no need for such compound-like fencing. Why in Pequannock? What makes Pequannock so dangerous? The applicant presented architectural renderings showing a modern-looking building completely out of character for the township. So in summary, the applicant, 1, misrepresented their bulk impervious surface and fencing variances, or the need for them. 2, ignored the Pequannock Master Plan requirement to build within the character of the neighborhood. And 3, demanded bulk impervious surface, parking, and front yard variances, all completely detrimental to the existing zone. So please keep positive and negative criteria in mind and hire independent counsel to challenge their faulty and misrepresented claims. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Patty Down. I live on West End Ave. I want to speak to you today about the importance of fiscal stewardship and legal integrity. I do have a handout that I'll give everybody a copy of. And I do hope that you look at the laws and the case summaries that I'm going to give you, and you use that when you go in your executive sessions and you make your decisions on how you're going to move forward. The case I'm referencing is Falone Properties, LLC versus Bethlehem Township Planning Board. There are essential core reasons why you should apply this legal case to Pequannock's case. Pascack Valley's claims lack legal merit, and settling could do the following. It could encourage other institutions to bypass proper zoning channels. It could increase exposure for the Joint Insurance Fund, JIF. It could erode public trust in the township zoning board's decisions. It could misuse taxpayer resources by rewarding invalid claims. Therefore, I encourage every one of you to please vote to rigorously defend our township zoning's decisions, because the facts 100% prove that the zoning board of Pequannock followed all legal criteria, zoning laws, and case precedents without any bias. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, come on up.
Short. Hello, Sandy LaCourte. The Pequannock Zoning Board's decision to deny the school variance is legally defensible and stands on the clear, neutral ground of public safety and traffic concerns. The defense against RLIPA lawsuit centers on proving that the denial was the least restrictive means, is the terminology, of addressing a quote-unquote compelling governmental interest. So the documented traffic hazards at that specific unsuitable residential location, also right on the way to Chilton Hospital and down the road from our high school. Claims of unequal treatment are false because the code treats all schools, non-public, public, religious, our code treats them all equally. And large variances granted to the homeowners for things such as decks and pools are legally incomparable to the high safety standards required for a major institutional school use. We have to be more careful with the children. The township must stand firm to protect the integrity of its master plan and the safety of the residents. This case affects the entire township, not just one parcel. If an applicant can secure through settlement what it could not obtain through the zoning board or planning board, our ordinances lose authority and the public process loses meaning. As held in ML Plainsboro versus Plainsboro Township Zoning Board, all the numbers are there, you'll have that. An applicant must exhaust local remedies before seeking court review. By filing prematurely and including multiple bodies, in one case, the plaintiff bypassed statutory processes under NJSA 4055D 70 through 18, which clearly separate local board jurisdiction. Shortcuts through litigation are invalid as a matter of law. The right course is to uphold our ordinances, not to amend them through negotiation. Accordingly, I ask that this council to direct council to move to dismiss the complaint with prejudice for procedural and jurisdictional defects. Number 2, to decline any settlement terms that override our ordinances or grant relief not obtainable in a properly filed action. And number 3, to reaffirm that public inquiry and lawful enforcement of our codes and ordinances are not misconduct, but they are duty. Please stand firm on integrity and the law, and I highly, again, I ask you to please get independent counsel, a specific land use person who can look at this case or do some of the filings that we're talking about that has our town's best interest rather than the insurance company's pocketbook. Okay, thank you so much.
Sandy, thank you. Anybody else? I didn't call on you yet, Gene.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I was just making up on.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Mayor. I'm Gene Spillane, and I'm a proud resident of this town. And I live right at 18 Cooper Road, where we always have very good coffee on by. Public trust depends on transparency and adherence to process, as observed right here in our town council meeting. The applicant, Pascack Valley Learning Center, entered an application of Learning Center School and only later recast themselves as a religious entity to seek different legal leverage. We talked about it before. Paul Mailer did. Almost all of us have talked on that. That flip-flop is precisely why the legal case of Brunetti v. Fallone warns against combining unrelated boards and actions into a single lawsuit. It's legally deficient. Citizens, and if I can move into this, citizens who investigated the inconsistencies of this applications were exercising civic duty, which is a sacred right for us as American citizens to do. We were not engaging in misconduct as per that pre-trial conversation was implying, which, by the way, I take great umbrage to. The proper forum for resolving factual questions is in the zoning board, the members of whom have done an excellent job making sure that our township's zoning laws, which are long-standing, have been followed. And through the zoning board's hearings and testimony, not through negotiated settlements behind closed doors by third-party insurance attorneys. Pequannock's ordinances exist for a good reason, and they must be defended publicly, on the record, with integrity. Accordingly, I ask this council to, 1, direct counsel to move to dismiss the complaint with prejudice, which is a legal term, for procedural and jurisdictional defects, to decline any settlement terms that override our ordinances which are long-standing, or grant relief not obtainable in a properly filed action. And third, to reaffirm that public integrity and lawful enforcement are not misconduct, but duty. Please stand firm on integrity and our law. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
I have 7 copies of this I'd like to distribute.
Yeah, you give them to Carol. Anybody else for public comment? Oh, come on up.
Hi, I'm Sue Latta, 6 Franklin Ave in Pumpkin Plains. I'm here tonight to support the Zoning Board's of Adjustments resolution to deny the conditional use variances for the Pascack Valley Learning Center and to encourage the township to stand firm in defending this decision. The township's defense against the RLUIPA lawsuit is strong, it's legal, it's focused on neutral public safety standards. The core facts are clear, and the first one that's really important is the traffic safety. I grew up on Vance on Place and Sanders and went to all the schools and walked my whole life growing up, and I can't even imagine the proposed build. The denial was rooted, among other, health, stormwater, and safety issues in the unresolvable traffic hazards, inadequate site circulation, and public safety threats posed by this intense institutional use on a small residential lot. This is a documented, compelling governmental interest that courts recognize, the traffic safety. And number 2 is the exclusive use distinction. We must look at the facts of the use itself as presented on the record. The applicant's own testimony stated that the school is exclusive, accepting no students from the broader community, and that it does not teach religion as part of its curriculum. And then number 3, applying the equal standards. This use is fundamentally different from other religious schools in our town that serve the public interest. The zoning board was correct to apply the high legal bar of the special reasons D variance standard for a project that by its own admission under this standard will provide zero community benefit while creating a significant safety detriment to the neighborhood. The township is not discriminating against a faith, it's defending public safety and its land use integrity against an impact use that is unsuitable for this specific residential site. We trust the town council will continue to stand behind the zoning board to protect the public health and safety of Pequannock residents. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Yes, come on up.
Thank you.
Rich Digos, 9 Van Riper Avenue. I'm not going to be as eloquent as the previous speakers. I'm just getting up because I truly love this town. I truly love it. Resident for 20 years, and I've been coaching at the lower levels and also high school level now for 19 years. The reasons why I'm so passionate about this town is, I mean, obviously the locality of it, close to everything, the resources we have, and this town rises to the occasion when disasters happen. I was around helping people re-sheetrock their houses when they were flooded out. Just this community comes together. And the friends I've gained, which some are here, we all have different perspectives of things. We have open minds, but we listen to each other. We don't always agree, we agree to disagree. But the meetings that we went to at the high school, 5 or 6 meetings, I can't recall, where I got up and spoke, and many other people spoke. When we would get together or text each other, none of us, and I'm talking dozens of people, could see the benefit of the 60 Sunset Road proposal. Not one. It was brought up about inherent benefit, which I spoke at the high school. And the examples I brought up are, if AT&T were to come into our town, the inherent benefit is if I want to go from Verizon to AT&T, that's allowed. An over 55 village comes in. Oh, I could help my mom move into that place. There's a little bit of competition. But when I got up and asked during that situation if my child could attend the school, they can. So what is the inherent benefit for our town? And to end it, coaching here at the high school now for 8 years, that traffic in that area, you add that, they took the survey at a time, because they put the dates up there, and it wasn't the time of a game. Maybe a practice, but it wasn't the time of games, or even a football game. It gets nuts there during those hours that they were proposing they would be leaving their area. So, again, love this town, and I appreciate everything that you do for our town, and it is a thankless job, and I thank you for that, but to please stick to what I think the whole town wants. Thank you for your time.
All right, Rich, thank you. All right, can we do one more now, and then there's a comment period later? We're beyond 30 minutes, but we'll get one more. Somebody.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Worsnick. I don't have a prepared speech. I just want to remind the town council, and I know most of you are Pequannock residents, we pay taxes here. Our taxes pay the insurance company. The insurance company is supposed to work for the residents, not fill their own pockets. So please support the town. The town, all these residents here are saying, hey, we need to fight the Pascal lawsuit. We don't need the insurance company caving. I wasn't part of the September 8th call. Even though I was supposed to be notified on it, I never received a call on it, and it's really sad to hear an insurance company basically represent themselves as, hey, Pequannock was, they're not, it's not a big deal. So we need to get our own counsel to hire. I'm an attorney myself. If I would hire someone to help me to do it. And I just want to remind the council, the insurance company works for us. We shouldn't care about their pockets.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so this comment here is closed. We'll have another one later, and I just want to speak for the rest of the council up here. We all love Pequannock. That's why we're up here, and you're welcome to come and talk at any time. You know, I'm just saying you're welcome. This is your time to talk. So, but thank you for coming out. Adam, can you just address just Bob's comments about just the paving and the county and the stuff in front of PV?
Yeah, I appreciate Mr. Borley's call. I did speak with him when it was ongoing. There were follow-up conversations, and there are conversations that continue. There were definitely things that could have been done better. There was some intervention. May not be as much as we wanted at certain points, but it did improve, and it's a learning experience for the next roads when they get done.
Yeah. So hopefully we can take that forward if they're working in front of other schools. We were hoping to get that done before school started, but that quite didn't work out. So, no, we can't do. Just later.
I knew this was going to be a problem. I installed the sign.
Yeah. Okay.
By my house, which was installed.
Right. No, I get it. All right. We can't do this. All right. So, Bob, sorry, but just Bob, can you just address the 60 Sunset questions, comments?
I'll try. There's a lot of questions and comments. Let's just start with where we're at today, because there seems to be some, just so we're clear, and some of the reason that there's not clarity is because a lot of times when you're in litigation, things happen quickly, and a lot of times it's detrimental to a party's position to talk too much about what's going on, and we have to understand that. As the mayor said, there is no settlement of that case at this point, so wherever that came from, that's inaccurate.
We do have on our agenda for closed session tonight a discussion item on this subject. The reason for that is to update the council on the first mediation session that we had. What happened, who was there, where the discussion went, and where it goes. It is not to approve a settlement tonight. So that is not on the table tonight. There's not even a discussion of a settlement that will involve the council in a council decision. The council deals with ordinances and amending ordinances. If there was a proposed settlement that involved an amendment to the ordinance, that would have to come to the council for council action. That's not there right now. So as of this moment, there is nothing for the council to decide regarding this case. We are, as we said at the last meeting, and as you learned when you listened in to where they were at the conference, which was open to the public and could have been open to anyone, and which we will now be appraised of by the attorney representing the township. He's going to be careful to tell us every step so that we can listen in and know what's going on. As a result of that, we moved to a mediation. When we talk about having independent advice, an independent mediator was retained for the purpose of seeing if there was some way to bridge the gap. There's a variety of ways that could happen. The mediator's job is to see if there is a way, and there's good reason for that. First of all, you don't get through a federal case without at least exploring that. That's just the way the system works. In fact, it would be grossly irresponsible for us, for the council, to stand up right at the beginning of a case and say, we refuse to even discuss where this could go. There are all kinds of possibilities, and we needed to understand what they are. Right now, none of those possibilities involve a council decision. So the council will be making no decision, and to the extent that that wasn't clear, we need to make that clear. Now, I'm not saying it won't happen in the future. There may not be some room for discussion, but at this time, there is not. So that is not what we'll be talking about in closed session tonight. So just to be clear, the township is a party, the Board of Adjustment is a party. I heard a lot of case citations and a lot of law, which is, of course, interesting to me to listen to and to hear out.
That's for you.
Yeah, thank you. Makes my night a little more interesting. But, I'm not going to get into where they go. First of all, to some extent, I don't know enough to even respond to some of it. I don't have the details yet. But we will do our best to keep everybody appraised as to what's going on, while protecting the township's ability to continue to defend this case. Remember, we go to mediation. We still have to remember, mediation may not work. This matter may go to full litigation, and we always have to be sure we're not doing anything that could jeopardize our position. Nothing said tonight, by the way, I'm concerned, does that. I think everyone has tried to make comments in a way, Mayor, that I think is respectable, and if anybody listened to it objectively, they might disagree, which is fine, but I don't think anyone would say that this was some attempt to do anything untoward with the council. So I think the council appreciates hearing the public input, and again, we will do our best to keep people appraised as best we can. But right now, there is no settlement. We're not discussing it tonight, and that's not where we're at. And that's what I have, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Any comments from council on?
I just want to thank everybody who took the time to come out and let us know where they were at and all the work they've done, and just thank you for speaking up and being so courteous, like Bob said, and kind, and just stating facts.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say the same. I mean, the amount of time and effort that most of you have put in is just tremendous, so thank you.
Agree. Ditto. Ditto and ditto.
Ditto?
What they said.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I gotta have these nuts because my sugar is low here, so.
All right. Eat your nuts. Next on the agenda is manager's report. I'm trying not to laugh. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. Quick rundown of the things in my written report. I won't go into too much detail unless there are specific questions. First, as I mentioned before, I appreciate Kevin's efforts. It was a good presentation and a nice update for the community. There's been discussion internally and externally regarding concerns over e-bikes and scooters. There's a growing problems, candidly, with issues we read in the papers of fatal incidents and other significant challenges. Staff, PD, Mr. Osteich and I met went over some drafts of some other communities, some state statute, and there will be an ordinance scheduled for discussion at the meeting of the 28th for the council's input, and if there's a direction to move forward with that or something like that, it would be in November. With respect to the Greenview Pickleball and Tennis Court membership fee.
Thought we were done with that one.
We were done with that one.
No.
And it was identified.
We are not done.
It was identified that there is, for Green Acres funded parkland, meaning parkland that was bought using Green Acres dollars, there's a limitation on the ratio between a in-state non-resident of New Jersey versus a resident of Pequannock Township. The difference between the resident fee and the non-Pequannock Township, New Jersey resident fee can only be double. So the existing ordinance is a $20 resident fee and a $150 non-resident fee. If the council decides to keep the resident fee at $20, the maximum non-municipal resident fee is $40. The ordinance is correct. There's a typo in my memo as I was writing that multiplied in my head, but in the ordinance it is correct. So there's an ordinance scheduled for the council's consideration for introduction, correcting that. If there's any other changes, obviously the council's free to make them whatever they want, provided that ratio is maintained.
I'm just curious, can I ask you, was it just a resident that found this Green Acres rule? Like, how did we come about not knowing about it and then finding it?
I was notified that the concern was raised by staff in the Parks and Rec Department. Okay. My understanding is they spoke with residents as well as some folks at Lincoln Park, and it was verified to be accurate, and here we are.
Thank you.
Last meeting, we had a lot of discussion regarding solid waste utility rates and the challenges with the solid waste bids, or bid, I really should say, that were submitted for the collection and disposal of solid waste and the collection and disposal of recycling. Direction was given, the rate study was finalized, and the council has for its consideration a contract to award the solid waste collection contract, the contract to award the recycling collection contract, and the ordinance to effect the necessary rate to support those awards, which would become effective on January 1st of 2026. As the council discussed, and just in quick summary, the reduction of the level of service to once-a-week solid waste collection and alternating weeks recycling collection would have resulted in a $50 per quarter increase. So the reduction in service would have had that effect. To maintain the same level of service, it's a $70 per quarter increase. So as the council directed, I've drafted up a statement when this all becomes effective. It's put on the website. I don't like my draft thus far. I'm working on it, but it'll be ready to go once we adopt it. But essentially, the value for that $20 per quarter was perceived to exist with maintaining the current levels of service.
With regard to that, the first time we went out to bid, we had 2 bids.
Correct.
And then somebody's bid didn't come in right. Why did we cancel and go out?
So there was a fatal flaw in the low bid the first time, so it would have precluded the council's ability to make the award. Had the council awarded it, it would have immediately been challenged by the second bidder.
Gotcha. And then
So the
never
decision
came
was
back
made.
again.
Correct. So the decision was made to, we were compelled legally not to be able to award to the low bid, and the next bidder, the second bidder, which is the incumbent service provider, we rejected because it was just high. It was beyond what was contemplated with the budget. He did this all the time, went back out to bid, and then we received 1 bid the second time around from the incumbent service.
I guess we didn't reach out to the guy and said, how come you didn't come back out?
I think it was said that, no, he took out the package, never returned it. That's what it was said at the last meeting.
Yeah, we communicated with him, we communicated with his council, and made sure the presence of the new bid was known, and it was collected and not sent.
I'm surprised, because he even came here.
Yep.
He was here the first time, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Can I ask you a quick question about the garbage contract? Sure. I read somewhere in here, I'm trying to find it again, that I know there's a senior discount.
Yes.
That's only about $40 a year. So being that it had gone up so much, how do they apply that? Is it a percentage of the total? Is it just 40?
I believe the 40 carried forward.
So there's no change because it had gone up so much?
No. If the council wants to increase that, if it's not a significant increase, I don't think it would be a big deal.
So that's something that the council could do?
Of course, the council always has the right to do it, but it could, if it's a consequential increase, I want to have it reviewed with the finance staff because it could change what the rates have to be.
Oh, okay.
Because if you take away from one and the rates are necessary to support the contracts, you have to add to another.
Right. Yeah, I'm just, $40 to a senior household and going up the amount it is doesn't make sense to me. I'd like to see, but it's something we'd have to talk about.
But if it goes from the left side of the balance, it's got to go to the right.
Okay, thank you.
And then, with respect to the road resurfacing program, there's a resolution scheduled for the council's consideration. Phase 1 was previously awarded in May. Contractor forgot about us, regardless of emails and jumping up and down and yelling. So the contractor is now being more attentive, and with the second phase, which was contemplated when we awarded the first phase, this would expand the contract by $100,000 to add in the library parking lot, as well as the PV Park swim lane, Marvin Road parking area. Basketball courts, which were originally contemplated for 2025 behind the municipal building. As with anything, when you have dedicated staff, we were going to resurface that. Or we were going to put new stanchions in, if the council remembers. The original conversation was put new stanchions in, and then we needed a new surface. And it was looked at, and there's some significant gaps in the surface. So that was awarded, and we moved forward with that. We went out, started getting into the nitty-gritty. The courts are not regulation sized. There's lighting issues. There's a light that's in the middle of a parking space. So the staff said, we really need to do this right. So being that there's no sense of urgency, it's not a safety risk. It's going to be pushed off to 2026 so we can redesign it and make it right forever moving forward. We all remember when the stanchions that are there were put in, they're not the right stanchions. We've talked about it regularly since. We want to make sure what we do is the right thing for now and for the next long term.
Do it once, do it right. So is it the same contractor for all Phase 1 and Phase 2 paving?
Yes, through the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council.
Is he going to come now?
We just have to make sure they don't forget about us again.
All right.
I've seen positive communication.
Okay.
That's always a plus.
Yes. And then lastly, we have the annual tradition, as I like to refer to it, of the best practices inventory as a discussion item. This is something that was initiated, I think, in 2008 by the Department of Community Affairs, where there's a lot of questions asked of municipalities to see whether we do things that are consistent with best practice. Do we adopt the budget in the right way? Do we submit what's needed to be submitted to the Public Employee Relations Council? So we needed a minimum score of 32 to not have any of our state aid retained. We have a score of 42, so we significantly exceeded that. It's on for discussion. That's basically the discussion points. But that is, again, a positive outcome and a good indicator of our operations. Unless there's any questions, that's mine.
I agree. I like that. That's a good thing. All right, any comments from council? Cool.
No, thank you.
All right, yeah, I'm just glad to, and in a way, to get this garbage and recycling thing over. I know the numbers are going up, but we felt it more important to keep the same level of service instead of trying to cut it back. The difference wasn't really worth it.
Yeah, the difference in going up, it's not only going up $40, it's going up quite a bit more than that.
Yeah,
right?
It would have been $50 if we reduced it, or $70 if we kept it the same.
Right, so.
And Mayor and Council, I have one more item that is not in my written report, but came to my attention. The post office is not what the post office used to be. So we mailed the water and sewer utility bills on the 23rd of September. It's come to our attention that the overwhelming majority of residents still have not received them. The period to pay that bill, which may have not yet been received without interest, concludes on the 20th of October. In a similar situation in 2022, the council saw fit to authorize an extension of that grace period. I don't have a paper resolution. If the council's amenable to extending that to November 15th, I think it would be helpful for those that have not yet received the bill.
I got mine Friday.
I would agree.
I agree. I got one today.
Okay.
I got it today.
A recommendation would be that there be a motion and a second with a roll call vote.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
To extend the grace period for the payment of the water and sewer utility bill to November 15th.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Marsh, you do a roll call, please?
Sure. Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Dreese?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments on the manager's report? Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2025-13. Ms. Marsh.
I hope this is populated here. Ordinance number 2025-13 is an ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Code of the Township of Pequannock and revising the eligibility requirements for membership in the Township Fire Department.
Are there any comments from council?
No, I think it's great that we're doing that.
Yeah, this is, you want to just say this is basically to allow township employees to join the fire department?
There was previously a restriction that you had to be a resident of the municipality to join the fire department, but not to be a member. You could leave. This expands the eligibility to those within 5 miles of the border, contiguous municipalities, and who work in town. There are already 5 interested parties, once this is adopted, who will be submitting their interest for membership, which will dramatically increase our daytime response.
Yep, so that's why we're doing that. So, is there a motion to open up the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All right, all in favor? Aye. If anyone in the audience has any questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-13.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Dracy?
Yes. Next on the agenda is introduction of ordinances. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2025-14 is an ordinance amending Chapters 152 and 237 of the Code of the Township of Pequannock and establishing membership fees and rules for pickleball and tennis court use.
Mr. Brewer, any more comments?
Not unless there's any questions.
All right, so this is basically residents are $20, non-residents are $40. Correct. Double, right? Any comments from council?
No, it's a shame we couldn't get more from the
Yeah, I agree.
non-residents, but it is what it is.
So is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make that motion.
Vinnie will make the motion and
Make
I'll
the motion to
second.
introduce
Roll
ordinance
call, please.
2025.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Dracy?
Yes. Next on the agenda is introduction of ordinance number 2025-15. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2025-15 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 124 entitled Solid Waste Utility of the Code of the Township of Pequannock.
Mr. Brewer, any comments?
Nothing further, like I said, unless there's any questions.
Okay. Comments from council?
No, we already...
Sorry, we didn't have any other choices.
Yeah, sorry.
Unfortunately.
We got one bid.
We're not,
We got
we don't
one
control
bid.
this. So, is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2025-15.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes, we've gotten one bid for the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Dracy?
Yes. Right, do you need a break or are you ready to go, Carol?
I'm fine.
Next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
I'll only stumble a little. Beginning with Resolution R 2025-191, awarding a 5-year contract for solid waste collection service to Gator Recycling of Paterson, New Jersey, for the contract amount of $4,356,000 in accordance with the bid specifications. 192, awarding a 5-year contract for recycling collection services to Getacan of Paterson, New Jersey, for the contract amount of $4,058,500 in accordance with the bid specifications. 193, authorizing the discretionary award of a contract for the removal and installation of new siding at the Fire Safety or Henning House to LA Design and Construction in the amount of $21,998. 194, amending R 2025-122, authorizing Tilcon New York Incorporated under the use of the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council for the annual road resurfacing improvements projects in the amount of $170,000 to add an additional amount of $100,000 for a total authorization of $270,000. R 2025-195, authorizing the adoption of the 2025 Morris County, New Jersey Hazard Mitigation Plan update. 196, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. And R 2025-197, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the October 9th, 2025 bill list and FEMA elevation escrow list.
Thank you. Thank you. Any comments on the resolutions from council?
I just have one on 2025-193. I know when we bought that house, we weren't sure what we were going to use it for, and then we decided, okay, let's use it for the fire safety office, and I know Kevin Nelson is there as well. We knew we were going to have to do work to it. Just curious, like, was it a good purchase? Like, is it good that, I mean, how many people...
It's been a money pit.
How many people are in that on a daily basis? I was just curious. Like,
So, yes, their Office of Emergency Management is now headquartered there, the Flood Resilience Officer is there, and the Fire Prevention Bureau is there, so there are always people in it. Sometimes 7 days a week. As far as was it a good purchase or not, I'm not touching that one.
No, but we, in other words,
we bought it,
needed
and it needed love, so
Yeah.
it's being given love.
Did this go out to bid or?
Quotes.
or-
Yes, it did.
Well, it did.
Quotes.
It did.
Not bid.
There's two bids in our packet here.
Yeah, I saw that, but there was just two.
But we needed the space as well, so we're utilizing it.
It's being utilized, and it's
Bad purchase.
It's gotten lots of love.
Well, can't go back, so we just got to
Thank
move
you.
forward.
I just was curious. Thank you.
If I remember correctly, the fire official was in a closet.
Yeah.
DPW.
Yeah, we did need it. We needed it.
Well, we needed more room. Yeah, do we need that? Maybe not, but
Yeah.
we needed more room. So that was
If
the
I ever want to
decision
sell
at the
my
time.
house to the town, I'm calling Barbara Budd.
There you go. All right, any more comments? Lynn, you good? I'm
good.
All right, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution R 2025-191 through R 2025-197.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Dreesy?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is items for discussion. This is the 2025 Best Practices Checklist. This is the one we got a 42 on?
This is the one we got a 42,
All right.
leaving a 32. The state requires it be identified on an agenda. We've done that. People are welcome to read through the thing in its entirety, to give the council and the public a couple of examples of things we couldn't say yes to that were not a positive answer. There were two questions related to, do we have bonding beyond what is required for certain positions, which I think is fascinating from the state of New Jersey, because if you want something more, require more. But if you ask if I have more than is required, the answer is no, I have what's required, which is 7-figure bonding. So it's an interesting inventory in that regard. There are a number of unscored surveys. What that does is they're looking to glean information about operations. Lead paint inspection was a big one after the implementation of Lowe's laws. So it's a way for them to gather statistics once the legislation is put in place. The other one that we say no to on a regular basis is, or two of them rather, one, we don't have a local ethics board. We rely on the local finance board in that capacity, which is permissible and very common in the state of New Jersey. And we don't have an electric charging station on public property. And the challenge with that is it's not that we're anti-electric charging station, we've just never really identified a spot where it would make a lot of sense. Most would think it would be great in front of the municipal building, but if you don't know, that's not ours.
Right.
So stashing one over in the corner of PV Park, I don't know what the benefit of that would be. So it's not that we're not open to it, we just don't simply have one, and that causes us, those are examples of things where we lose comfort.
Put it at the Henning House.
Wait till capital budget season, Council. No, we have more plans.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
That's all I have on that, unless there's any further questions.
All right, any other questions from council on best practices?
No, thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job to the staff. It's a
Good,
team.
yes, good job to the staff. Yes, thank you, thank you. All right, there are no reports or notices. The next item on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Okay, I'll just start with some of the committee stuff. The Town Economic Development Committee, I believe they're working with the town manager and DPW to see about purchasing wreath decorations for the turnpike. Is that still an ongoing project?
Yes, they're going to purchase a wreath and we're going to see the works.
Okay. And then they're going to purchase one, but then who's going to purchase the rest?
It's not in the budget from my perspective.
Okay. I just wondered if those discussions have...
No, I'm not aware of what their plan is with respect to who would fund it.
Okay, because I know they were working on that. This past Saturday, the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee ran a bus trip to the Hunterton Playhouse. There were about 45 people who went on the trip to Hunterton and saw an Elton John and Billy Joel tribute concert. They all had a great time. The weather held out, so thank you for everyone that put that together. The Pathway to History Tour, and also the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, if anybody wants to come to the meeting, is meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock here in one of the conference rooms down the hall. They do their meetings in the mornings during the week. The Pathway to History Tour was a success. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend, but I heard there was about 60 visitors that visited the Railroad Museum, and the Martin Berry House was open as well, and it was a great success. I don't know how many of you got to go to that. Let's see, what else? We all know the hoedown is Saturday, October 18th. We hope to have a beautiful day. This Sunday, if you don't know, there's a classic car show at PV Park. It's sponsored by American Legion Post 242 and the North Jersey Classic Cruisers. If anybody has a nice car, it's only $20. And you can get there at 8:30, register, and have your car, or just go and look at the cars. It's really a nice event. If most of you know about the Empty Bowls event, there's an Empty Bowls community event on Monday, October 20th from 5 to 8. And if you don't know, their mission is to, all the proceeds from that, the funds go to the local food pantry, and it's just a way to get together with the community and educate people about, poverty and hunger issues in our own community. So if you're around for that, that'll be held at Friendship Hall. What else do I have? I know my things are always long, right? Everybody knows the tree lighting is coming up in November, a little early, but November 30th. The reason I bring it up, if you're a nonprofit and you want to help out at the event, Doug Cook is in charge of it, and you can reach out to him. If anybody needs his number, you can get it from any of us or Carol, but that's a nice event as well, and you can help at that event because every year they're making it bigger and bigger and having a lot of celebrations, a lot of festivities. What else? Oh, Adam, I wanted to ask you if I saw the announcement that FiOS is coming to Pequannock, but you said something about the south end.
If you open the letter and look at the attachments.
Right, that's where it's starting. That's what I thought, yeah.
It's here already.
It's here already. I don't know why we got the correspondence that we did, but I shared it as soon as I received it.
Yeah, no, that
The
was
assumption
good.
is it's coming in from Wayne Lincoln Park, and it's going to go up.
Okay, so we don't know when it's going to get through the whole town, but they're starting there at that section. And it made me think of, if you remember a while ago, I was big on the seniors that still wanted that Channel 77. And you got, I know, it's kind of funny, but...
It's up, it's running.
And I hear it's up and running, but then we heard that there was a learning curve, and I never got any follow-up. So it actually works, and people can submit things.
So the issue when it was down for a couple of years existed between the software and Optimal. We're all T's at this point. So once we got through that log jam, had to get some new software, a little bit new equipment, and staff got it up and going, and it's there.
Does anybody use it? Is there anything up there? Yeah, I don't think anybody knows they can submit. That's why I asked.
Yeah, well, there's a small group of people that know that it exists and submit.
Okay.
They do it. But if you get FiOS, you don't get that.
Right. I know, now FiOS is coming, so. I get it. I know it's, but, hey, it's my seniors. They're always asking.
That's why we got it going.
Right, okay. I appreciate it.
She's 60. She's one of them.
And it also made me think about the website. We talked about updating the look of the website. We were going to do more with that. Anything going on with that?
We did.
Like since we talked about it last?
Well, it got reskinned and new pictures and the color.
That must have been just recently.
No, that was a year and a half ago.
No, I'm talking about recently. No. You had gone on you had done a seminar and said, one of my goals is to use the website for, to update it more and do so.
Yeah, there's a lot more on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more on it, and the staff was engaged.
I think that seminar was in 2023.
No. It was this year. And you had talked about utilizing it more. That's all. So I just wondered if anything was going on with it.
There's a lot more on the website because there's a lot more happening.
Okay. I mean, I'm on it all the time, I'm just saying, some people were saying that there was not a lot of information. And also the budget requests, most of you left, but if you're on any committees or boards, I know that they're asking for all the committees to submit their budget requests for next year by the end of the month, and to work with your prospective department heads in getting those requests in. So I appreciate that you sent that out. I'm assuming it went to all the chairs already. Okay. Do I have anything else? I think I talked enough, right? I'll let you do the turkey trot.
Oh, thanks.
And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Oh, don't laugh at me.
Councilman Cole.
Well, the one that I was really hoping Melissa was going to take is there is a grand opening this Sunday for Blissful Bra.
That's right. Yeah, you didn't want to say that one.
I didn't want to say it, but I was hoping you were saying it.
I was going to forgot about it.
3:30 at on the highway near the Century 21 building.
Right.
So
Yeah,
if you're around, I heard the first 10 people get some sort of special bag or something.
Oh,
I don't know what's in the bag.
As long as it's supported.
Yeah. All right. Company 1 is doing very well with their turkey trot. They need runners. The turkey trot is Thanksgiving morning. It starts at 9 o'clock. Should be done by 10:30. So if you want to try to work off a few pounds or a few calories before Thanksgiving, you can come out to the turkey trot. Company 2 is having a poker day on November 2nd. Food starts at 12 o'clock. It's a Sunday. The tournament will start at 1 o'clock. They're looking for players and sponsors, and that's going to be at Company 2. I don't want to steal Kyle's thunder, but the First Aid Squad Oktoberfest, the weather was beautiful, and that's all I'll say. I'll let her say anything else. The Hoedown Saturday, it looks like it's going to be great weather. And prayers go out to Christine Franscone's family for the loss of Christine. She's going to be a huge loss for the First Aid Squad.
I had that on my list.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Dave. Councilwoman Russell.
Thank you. Just a couple of dates. We have also December 6th is the pancake breakfast with Santa for the First Aid Squad. And the installation dinners, I believe they're all doing it together, is January 17th. The Hoedown was phenomenal. They had the greatest weather. The Oktoberfest, sorry.
There you go.
It's late.
That thing.
It's 9 o'clock. It was great. They had great weather. I just have a question because they did get a letter from Parks and Rec saying that there was some damage to the field and Parks and Rec was going to charge them.
There will be no charge in 2025. The letter was sent identifying that the issues were presented and there was some cost involved. But
Okay.
there will be no demand for money this year.
Oh, there wasn't. Okay, they were under the impression that they were going to get a bill.
They're not going to get a bill.
Okay, good.
It was an FYI for this year and something to talk about when we lead up to the event next year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they had a great time. They do a lot of work for that, and we were there setting up the whole day before. Poor Greg Renner he wasn't feeling well, and he kept having to go home and change because he was so sick, but it was really a great turnout. The 3 bands were great. I think they're already all wanted to be booked for next year again, but we told Greg he's not allowed to pick the date, so there's that. Library meeting is tomorrow, where we'll be formalizing the bids that we awarded to do all the work. Environmental will be coming to give a presentation on the new plantings around the pond. Now, is the pond liner holding? Did I hear that it wasn't holding, that it's draining water?
I have not heard that. I visited it last week and was told everything was going great.
Evaporation, I would say.
Yeah.
What was that?
It has
losing because of evaporation.
No,
Right.
It was not mentioned when we reviewed all the things in the park that there was any issues with it.
Oh, okay. Somebody had mentioned that maybe it was. And that's all I have.
did you say the 17th is the installation?
January 17th is the installation dinner. Yes.
Thank you, Councilman Syracuse.
Great. So first and foremost, I just want to thank Rudy Steinthal for all his volunteer work to the community. He served his last community meeting, and he'll be moving south to join his daughter on a farm, doing great things.
His wife has been there for like a year already.
Yep, she's been there. He's finally going to join them, and I think they're looking forward to all his things. So just a quick recognition of Rudy, and
That would be
thanks.
great. We should recognize him and send something.
Yep, something. And then, just real quick, Parks and Rec, you already said it, but the hoedown's on Saturday, so hopefully we have mass participation on that. Hopefully it's a great day, and it's a great day for the community. I always loved going there, especially on the hayride when I was growing up in town, and I brought my kids there. And then, open space, the big so what out of there is there's going to be a question on there for Morris County, something about stewardship for the open space, and how that's going to, if they're going to add stewardship to the open space verbiage for money to be spent for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Vinny.
Yep.
A couple things for me. Like many of the people mentioned tonight, I'm proud to be a resident of Pequannock. We have a great town. We're going to do my best to keep it that way, and I can speak for the rest of the council. We all are. I'm thankful to be on the council and also thankful to be mayor this year. So most people that know me say, "What are you doing?" But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. So thank you. Congrats on the best practices list with the township. It's good whenever we kind of have a test or have to fill out a form. We always come out a lot better than than most, I think. Right. So congratulations to Zachary, our newest police officer. And also all the awards that they handed out. Like Vin said, I'm glad he piped in. The guys do it. They're out there every day, but it's nice that the residents know what's going on because a lot goes on. And in that light, the fire department responded to, and the first aid squad responded to that fire in town maybe about a week and a half, two weeks ago. So I'd like to give a specific thank you to them. That's not easy. I don't know. I've never done that, but I can't imagine being involved in something like that. But thank you.
Traumatic for some
Yeah, thank you to them for what they do for our town, especially not getting paid. Going through a lot of training. So as we did tonight with the new ordinance for the fire department, allowing other people to join. And having people ready to sign up already is really a testament to those groups. I'm thankful that the paving on the turnpike is done. Looks good, but they did a lot of work. They rebuilt all of those basins and stuff. That is quite a bit of work. So I'm just thankful that's done. And I think that's about it, Mr. Brewer.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Moving on, item number 15. Next item is public comment. As a reminder, we welcome comments, suggestions, questions rather than dialogue, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized and come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. Anybody? You did, yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Jill Werner.
I'm sorry, could you spell your last name? That was me. I didn't hear your last name.
Oh, Jill Werner.
Werner, thank you.
W-E-R-N-E-R. Sorry, it was like a weird echo.
Sorry.
I'm here to tell a little bit of story. This story has been told before, but it's to benefit those who may not have been able to listen in the past. So, a new customer walks into a store in search of a pair of shoes. This store is well known for its quality products and exceptional customer satisfaction. As the customer browses the shoe department, they hone in on an extremely desirable pair in the center of the store, selling for $22. They ask the associate if they are available in a size 5. The associate explains that these particular shoes are only available in a size 4. In addition, they run small, fitting more like a 3.98. The manufacturer recommends sizing up. Despite knowing this information, the customer impulsively purchases the size 4 shoes, throws $30 at the associate and walks out of the store without taking their change. Some time passes, and the customer returns to the store, heads directly to the customer service department. The customer complains that they're unable to fit their size 5 feet into the size 4 shoes, then demands that the store make several alterations to the shoes to make it suit their needs. The customer service representative cites the store's policy that clearly states that no alterations may be made to shoes that are too small for the customer's feet. The customer argues that by making these alterations to their shoes, it would be inherently beneficial to the store. Failing to see any benefit to the store, but more importantly, citing store policy, the customer service representative denies the alteration request. The customer stands there in frustration at the decision. What are they to do with shoes that don't fit, that they cannot alter, that they overpaid for? Some valued customers heard all of the commotion, walked over to the customer service department, and started paying close attention. They greatly appreciate the customer service representative doing their due diligence to do what's in the best interest of the store they love. They suggest to the dissatisfied customer that perhaps they could sell those shoes online and shop for a better fit in a different store. Some more time passes. The customer returns to the store again, not to return the shoes that are too small, but rather to escalate their complaint to store management. They are claiming that they were denied their excessive alteration request due to discrimination. The store management carefully reviews the claim and confirms with the HR department, and they are united in their support of the customer service department's decision. The denial was based solely on the store's long-standing history of upholding the store's policies. This is one of the many reasons that the valued customers continue to shop here. You may be thinking that this allegory is an oversimplification of a very complex process, but the taxpaying residents who care about what happens in this town would disagree. It is in fact quite simple and comes down to this. The zoning board did their part by meticulously examining and ultimately unanimously denying the excessive variances based on our town's codes and ordinances. Those variances would be a major threat to the safety of the residents of this town. It is now your responsibility to uphold their decision and protect the people you serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Gene?
Hard to follow that one. I'll tell you.
Well, you don't have to try if you don't want to.
I just wanted to say, Ben and I are members of American Legion Post 450 down by Rita's. We have a car donation program. And I just wanted to mention that because everyone's always talking with township council members, hey, you know, what do I do here? What do I do there? We'll take any car. It'll get donated, and it will go directly to supporting veterans here in this town. So I want to let you know that.
Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So if you got an old car, we know what to do with it. Yeah, thank you.
Sometimes the old cars are worth more than the new ones, though. You got to watch, right? I'm sure you want them, too.
When I donated my Jeep.
Anybody else for public comment? All right, seeing none, we're going to close this section. Thank you for your comments. Moving on with the agenda, approval of minutes. There are no minutes, so we can't approve them. Moving on, next on the agenda is the closed session discussion. Is there a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the Township Council to meet in executive session to discuss litigation of the Pascack Valley Learning Center versus Township of Pequannock, litigation of Route 23 sewer assessment appeals, matters of attorney-client privilege, and personnel?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, the public portion of the meeting is recessed for closed session. Thank you.